Gamers, what's good guys? So today I'd like to talk about Dark World. Unfortunately, this is a best of one format with Max C in the game, so they're not very good. Now if you guys really want a Dark World video, I mean, maybe you can hit the like button and I'll see what I can do. But in the meantime, we can still enjoy some dope Dark World action with Grapha, Dragon Overlord of Dark World. This card is actually really solid and really easy to summon in branded DESPIA with a couple of tier cards. The whole combo is basically revolving around having a copy of Cartesia as well as literally any tier monster. It's really cool, really strong. I have a couple of replays. I've been doing quite good with it in master rank right now. I've been climbing. Well, I mean, I'm still like in master 5, but I'm one win away from ranking up. So I'm thinking, let's try to do a rank up game. I actually think the tech is really strong just because, well, Grapha is an omni-negate, and getting a way to negate evenly in a deck that is notorious for being really weak to evenly, I think is really solid. So yeah, let's go try to get that rank up, and then I'll show you some replays for like the more linear, like standard combo. All right, so hopefully I get to showcase the combo in this live gameplay. If I don't, however, it's all good. I have two really solid replays where I really get to show off how good this combo is in the deck. So we're going to be going first here. I forgot to mention in the intro of the video, another thing that makes this possible is because with Cartesia, you can make Grand Guignol, and obviously Grand Guignol can send a card from your extra deck to the grave. You can actually send the Muddy or Mud Dragon Synchro. Let me just go grab the card here. It's this. You can send Muddy Mud Dragon from your extra deck to the grave, and that's basically what enables you, because you can use this card as material to make your Grapha instead of using an actual Grapha. So here we have Fusion Deployment, Branded Fusion, and Fallen of Albaz. I think this does do it. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. We can go Fusion Deployment. We can go Fusion Deployment to summon out the Cartesia, if they don't stop us here. Summon out Cartesia, just like that. Yes, this is what we do. So we go Branded Fusion to make Lubellion, and we chain Cartesia. So basically, what we want to do is we want to have our Grand Guignol get summoned, and we want our tier effect to trigger basically in the same chain. So we're going to make Grand Guignol here using the Blazing Cartesia, as well as, well, I'll say, yeah, Serenir. I'll say Serenir here, just because we'll get that sent to grave with Serenir, which is nice. So this gets summoned, then... Well, like I said, I have some really solid replays, so let's do that. But hey, I mean, a rank up is a rank up. I'll take it, you know, like a... Can't complain. All right, so first off here, I want to show you a replay of me going second. Me going second is not really important to the replay. It's just because here I get to do the most standard line for the combo, and that's why I really want to get to show that off. So basically, the most standard line you can get for this combo is a tier name plus a Cartesia. This is the most standard way you're going to have of getting to Grapha. There's other ways to do it, because basically anytime that you have your Muddy Mud Dragon in the grave and you get to trigger a tier effect, you can actually make the Grapha. So there's some scenarios where you'll actually make Grapha on your opponent's turn. Like on your own turn, you know, you can send the Muddy Mud Dragon to the grave. It's kind of like a really consistent way of getting a King of the Swamp in the graveyard, essentially. And then on your opponent's turn, maybe you'd activate like a Solik, and that would get a tier name in the grave, trigger the tier, and then you get to make the Grapha that way. But here's the most standard way to do it, since I didn't really get to show it in my last game. We're playing against an Adamantipator player who got pretty unlucky, so we'll just skip through this a little bit here. They see Block Dragon, they see tier names. Why the hell are you in Master Rank playing tier names in your Adam deck is beyond me. But either way, they're going to go for Risen, and they're going to summon out the Rock Band Xeno Guitar, set 2 cards in pass turn. Pretty bad for an Adamantipator board, you know? Anyway, here we're going to go Scream, and we're going to go Branded Lost. I'm just doing a bunch of little plays, just trying to bait out their potential interruptions in the back row. Here I go for Alibur. They decide to Imprim the Alibur, so now we don't have to worry about Imprim anymore. I'm going to go for Fusion Deployment and reveal Grand Guignol. We can summon our Blazing Cartesia. Now we go Blazing Cartesia to summon into Grand Guignol using a tier limit monster as well as your Blazing Cartesia. The tier limit monster obviously doesn't matter where it is, but yeah, you want to use these two to make yourself a Grand Guignol. So summon out the Grand Guignol, and here it's very important. If you want to make Grapha, you have to go tier effect Chain Link 1. It has to be the last effect resolving because at the end of the chain, you want to fuse your tier with the monster that you're sending to the grave off of Grand Guignol. So it doesn't matter what chain link Grand Guignol is, as long as your tier monster is chain link 1, right? So we go tier limit Sharon, chain link 1, chain link 2, we go Branded Lost, and then chain link 3, we go Grand Guignol. Grand Guignol effect, we're going to send to the grave our Muddy Mud Dragon to the grave. This card can be substituted for any monster material, basically for a fusion. So we'll use these two and make ourselves a Grapha. Now, my search off of Branded Lost here, I searched an Albion. Reason I searched an Albion is because I just wanted the free draw in case I get something a bit more useful. And here I go. So I go Albion, send a Branded Opening to the grave. I also just wanted that protection, and, well, lucky me, I top decked the Branded Fusion. Kind of goofy, I know, but, you know, we'll take it. So we go for Branded Fusion here. The rest of this replay is not really relevant to the video. I'm sure you're already familiar with Branded. You know, I just went for something really basic. I made Albion into Mirror Jade. Like, at this point, I was just like, whatever. I mean, this guy has, like, no board set up, right? So here we go. We go Mirror Jade. They actually had the called by for the Albion. I really don't care about that. And here, just for the video, I wanted to showcase the Omni Negate of my Grapha, and I couldn't really find a good way to do it, so I decided to just banish the Rock Band Xeno guitars just so I had something to negate. So here we go. Grapha, Omni Negate. Super optimal Omni Negate, by the way, discarding Max C. Totally needed to do that. But anyway, go to battle phase here, and we can just kind of swing for game. You know, we have lethal on board. But yeah, Grapha in this deck is really, really crazy. This scenario doesn't really showcase how crazy it can be, but just the ability to play around evenly is just so good. All right, and for this next replay here, I'm playing against Labyrinth, and I'm going second again. And I just kind of want to show how this combo can also be applied in the grind game. You can set it up early and then, you know, use it later. It doesn't have to just always be set up turn 1. So here we go. Well, turn 1, I mean turn 2 in this case, because we're going second. But yeah, so my opponent goes Pot of Extravagance. I'm going to go Max C here just in case they were to, like, draw into an Ash. Obviously, I pretty much know that they're playing Labyrinth. It also just kind of makes them not want to play into it as much, so maybe not want to set up as much of a board. But, you know, they're still playing Yu-Gi-Oh! So they're sending their big welcome Labyrinth, set 4 and pass. I mean, that's pretty damn good. It's about all Max C will do for you against Labyrinth is make them choose the way they want to play. Here we go for Sharon, and they're going to chain their own Max C. So at this point, I'm like, oh, Max C into Labyrinth. If I can't break their wall, it's pretty bad to try to take the challenge. But I think I just end up taking it anyway. I'm just like, you know what? We're going to try to out-resource them a little bit here and just outplay them a bit. So, you know, we go for the Sharon here. Discard the Rhino Heart. They're going to chain their Chandelier and their Stovey in the grave. They're going to use the Terrors of Overroot here to banish our Sharon and special summon face down our copy of Rhino Heart. No, it sends the Sharon to the grave. Yeah, this is why I was so confused about this play, because they send my Sharon to the grave, which means, like, instead of discarding my Havness, I just use the graveyard effect of Sharon instead. So I don't really see why they did this. It really didn't make any sense to me. But either way, we go into a Kit Kalos effect here. Grab a Merly, and of course I have Alibur here, but I'm just trying to, like, I just want to force out all their stuff. So I figured tier plays, you know, they're a bit better than Despia plays at forcing out a lot of interruption. So here they're going to bounce our Kit. We're going to still special summon out the Merly because we activated the effect of Kit. Get to mill 3, grab a Solic, and then we're going to normal summon Alibur to grab a Branded Fusion. Now we're going to activate our Branded Fusion, send 2 to the grave, make ourselves an Albion by using Cartesia as well as Albaz. This is going to make it so at the end phase, Cartesia can add herself back to our hand. And with the Albion, we're going to make ourselves a copy of Mirror Jade. Now, I am drawing my opponent a lot of cards here. Going to banish their Stovey, send the Albion to the grave. They're going to chain Lady Labyrinth, and they're going to activate Chandelier in hand here. I'm just kind of taking my chances here. I'm like, you know what? I kind of know Labyrinth. You know, I played it quite a bit ever since it came out. Enough so that I feel pretty comfortable here. They had the Epidemic Virus. They went for spells. They learned that we have Solic, which is not really a big deal because I was going to activate it next turn anyway. So we do a little bit of damage here, and this is kind of like my strategy for this game. We're going to set a Branded Retribution with the Albion because the Branded in red is in the grave. But yeah, my strategy for this duel here is basically try to, like, because they're just going to keep rebuilding their advantage, so I just want to get in some pokes, get in some damage, and, you know, just, like, keep them in the grind game, basically. So they're going to go for Ariana, the Labyrinth Servant. We're going to chain our Havness. They're going to activate Welcome Labyrinth. I'm going to go Branded Retribution on the Welcome Labyrinth. I mean, I don't know what they have in hand, but I'm like, you know, at this point, I just want to, like, just stop them from doing as many things as possible. Get a mill 3 here. Didn't mill anything too crazy. We did mill a Serenir, so we're going to get to send something with that. And they added a Ku Klok. Now, this is one of the most terrifying Ku Kloks I've ever seen in my life, and you'll figure out why in a moment. But yeah, we're playing pretty patient here. With the Serenir, I sent to the grave a branded opening just to protect a fusion monster later. They had set like 5 cards, so I decided, you know what, I'm just going to wait it out before activating Solik. I wanted them to activate at least one of their traps. Like, they obviously can only activate one off of Ku Klok, so I was just waiting for them to activate a trap. They decided to go for Dogmatica Punishment, which is a pretty good option here, since like if they send like an Enthys, then they can actually destroy our Solik in the back row. So I'm like, oh, okay, that's pretty good. They go for Aliber here. I'm gonna chain Solik because I figured they would pop the Solik with Enthys. So I want to chain Solik to negate the Ariana, just so I can send them early to the grave. But they're going to bounce their own Ariana so that I don't get to send my Merly to the graveyard, which is a pretty good play, I'm not going to lie. And yeah, they pop our Aliber. They're going to go for Welcome Labyrinth in the grave and Chandelier in the grave. So, you know, they just keep regenerating their advantage. That's just what Labyrinth does, you know. Add back the Chandelier here. And yeah, now it's on to our turn. So draw phase, we draw into a Havness. We're going to go for the graveyard effect of Branded Retribution to grab another Branded Fusion. And here I just really want to play through and try to get that last 3200 damage. Start by special summoning out the Blazing Cartesia. I'm going to use the effect of Cartesia, and they're going to chain Dimensional Barrier, which is just terrifying, right? They're going to declare fusion monsters. I'm going to summon out the Havness. We're going to activate the Albion Engrave to send another Branded Opening to the graveyard. And here we go. We're just trying to swing for game here. I'm just like, there's no way this gets through. But, you know, I'm like, I got to force out their traps some way, right? So here they summon their lovely Labyrinth. They're going to go for Big Welcome to summon out the Lady Labyrinth, bouncing the Lady so that they can use the effect of Lovely. And here, obviously, I'm going to chain my Tier Limits Solik so that I can negate the Lovely so that they can't pop the Solik. Unfortunately, they had set the Infinite Impermanence in the same column as I expected, and they negate it, so they get to pop my Solik. It is what it is, though, and they get to set their card there, too. So, yeah, they pop the Solik. Obviously, we get a search with the Solik here, and they're going to special summon out their Lady Labyrinth of the Silver Castle. This is definitely, like, a pretty intense game. It seems like they're playing very patient, which might have been a mistake, but, yeah. So, here we grab our Sharon. We pass. We have a couple of cards on field. We have Cartesia, which is a pretty good interruption. So, we're going to go for Cartesia right now. And if this Cartesia goes through, we would be able to make ourselves a Grapha on our opponent's turn. But they're going to go for Dragon's Prison and Big Welcome and Lady Labyrinth of the Silver Castle and Ku Klok. So we're now at Chainlink 6. I think this guy is trying to actually put the pedal to the metal on this turn here. So they get to set their Ferret Flames, which is a really interesting choice for Labyrinth. I haven't seen that one. So yeah, they banish Havness. Well, basically they banish both our Havnesses. And then, even though they bounce Cartesia, I still get to use Cartesia. So kind of a useless bounce. So I would say a misplay on their part. Maybe they're still learning the deck. But anyway, here we get to summon Grand Guignol. And we used our Merly as well as our Cartesia. So we get to activate Merly as Chainlink 2. The earliest Chainlink that we can have. And then we get to go Grand Guignol. So Merly is going to resolve after Grand Guignol resolves. So we send the Muddy Mud Dragon Merly effect. I'm actually going to use Sharon and Merly here to go into a Kit Kalos. I decided just to set up the Mud Dragon, but instead of summoning a Mud Dragon here, since the effect of Lovely was resolving, they were going to get to pop whatever I summon. So if I summoned the Grapha here, just because their effect was resolving, I couldn't negate it, so they would have just destroyed my Grapha. So instead I summoned a Kit Kalos here, and I just figured, you know what, with Kit Kalos I can send a tier to the grave, and then with that, like, we can just go into our Grapha later. Here they're going to go for Ferret Flames. I decide to keep my Kit Kalos, so in response to Ferret Flames, well, not in response, but basically, I'm going to shuffle back my Graginia. Then with Kit, I'm going to send a Sharon, so that now we can actually make our Grapha, and now we have access to an Omni-Negate, which is really nice, because usually, Branded Despia doesn't have any plays against trap cards, and they're just going to scoop it up here, which I thought was really surprising. I don't know why they didn't just... Oh, it was a time limit. Oh. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't even check earlier. I just thought they scooped it up because, like, they thought they were in main phase 2 or something. But yeah, they could have went to beat over the Kit, then I would have been stuck with my Grapha. They would have had a lot of advantage still. But time limit, hey, you know, it's still good though. I mean, you saw I was keeping up with them, like, 5 turns into the game against Labyrinth, building a crazy amount of advantage through Maxi Challenge. Like, Just give me a break here. That was still really good. Let's go do the card by card, please. All right. So before we even get into the card by card, I do want to give a shout out to Top Bulldog for helping me out with the idea. He's actually the one that showed me the combo with Cartesia as well as any tier name to be able to go into Grapha. Also, huge shout out to Cure420 who helped me build the deck. We kind of like theory crafted together and built the deck together. So that was a lot of fun. And honestly, I'm really happy with this list. Now, I'm not saying this is like a perfect list. There's a lot of freedom that you have with this list, really. Sometimes I wish I had 3 Blazing Cartesia because she's actually just so good in this deck, and I do feel like you can maybe play with some ratios. Like if you don't want to play Super Poly because you don't really need to play it, I just think it's really good in this format. You could definitely replace Super Poly for some extra options for your branded stuff, bestial stuff. I mean, also maybe you'd want to run like a Tearlament's Crime. I'm only running the Solic just because I think Solic is a bit too broken to not run, but Crime is also really solid. So you know, I just figured, you know, we don't really need the Crime because we have a non-negate once per turn right here, and it's a really good one. But yeah, either way, guys, let's just get into the card by card here. We have 3 copies of Maxx C because it's the best card in the video game, 2 copies of Merly, 3 copies of Ash, 2 copies of Havnis, 2 copies of Fallen of Albaz, 2 Alibers, 1 copy of Tri-Brigade Mercourier. This is another card I kind of wish I had the space to run 2, but don't really have the space. This card is really useful because you can banish it with a Bestial to search Cartesia. And again, in this deck, the more access you have to Cartesia, the better. So sometimes, you know, if you have a tier name and you have a Bestial and you have like Branded Fusion, it might be good to go Branded Fusion and use your Mercourier as a material just so you can banish it with one of your Bestials, and then you can actually go grab yourself a Cartesia and do the Cartesia lines, you know. So it really depends on the hand there, but this card is very useful in the deck. 2 copies of Sharon, of course, 2 copies of Rhinoheart. This card as well as Cartesia can both be summoned off of Fusion Deployment, which means that you actually have 5 copies of both Rhinoheart and Cartesia technically with these 3 copies of Fusion Deployment here. So yeah, this card is so good for this deck. It's really the glue that brings it together. I think it's better than Branded in High Spirit for this build personally. We have 1 copy of Magnamut, 3 copies of Serenir because this is the best one in Branded, 1 copy of Druisworm, 1 copy of Albion. Already went over Fusion Deployment, 2 copies of Branded Fusion, of course. Branded Lost. Some people might want to run the other, you know, branded spells. Like the only reason I'm not running it is because like you're always going to choose Branded Lost first. I'm not even running Lubellion, so it's not like I have a bunch of easy ways to get the Branded Lost. I pretty much only get it if I already have Branded Fusion and I get to summon Aliber, or if I mill it like with my tier cards and then I can like grab it back with my Branded Retribution, you know? So that's why I'm not really running any other like bestial branded spells. We have 2 copies of Tearlament's Scream, 2 copies of Super Poly. Super Poly, I would like to run 3 as well, but again, I'm trying to keep the deck under 43 here. We're trying to keep it at 42 at max. 2 copies of Branded Opening, it's just broken. 1 Branded in red, 1 copy of Branded Retribution, and of course the Solic. For the extra deck, I'm keeping my Super Poly targets close. So we got our Mud Dragon of the Swamp and our Garura. We have 1 copy of Kit Kalos, 1 copy of Dragostapelia, double Albion, 1 Mirror Jade, you don't need another one, 1 copy of Lubellion. We've got our Rule Kalos, of course the Grand Guignol, got the Rimbrum, we got the 1 copy of Guardian Chimera, got the Kaleido Heart, of course, and the Grapha as well as the Muddy Mud Dragon. I just think this is a really cool tech, so I wanted to show it off on the channel, and genuinely I think if you're running this tech, it's going to be a pretty easy climb to Master 1, so I definitely wanted to show it off on the channel. Thank you guys for checking out the video. Again, if you guys really want a Dark World video, make sure to like the video. It helps the channel tremendously and takes no effort, so just don't be a bot, just go hit the button. Also, huge shout out to my Ultimate Conductor tier members. That would be Raptor, Bongerman for 20, That Dude Joey, B-Dubs, Hitter Miss JT, JQ the King, Coots McG, as well as Hootamami. You guys are awesome. That's it for me. Alright, peace.